ranks. Chelsea do have the option to buy a buyout clause for £40 million because Bournemouth rate him at around £40 million, and that's how much Bournemouth will sanction the player off in January, because Eddie Howe and Bournemouth are looking for a potential replacement for Nathan, because he's a type of player with great potential. He's been in fantastic form for Bournemouth this season. Bournemouth have been good, this season, but basically they have lost the last 2 games yesterday. They lost yesterday, they lost the other week as well, did Bournemouth, but reportedly Manchester United, Man City and Chelsea, I think it mentioned Tottenham as well, that are interested in the player. He's a player that has been at Watford since like 2016-17, but he's really made an impact this season as well. Of what I've read about him, he's had a lot of experience in the Premier League. He made 91 appearances. He's made 91 appearances all in all in the Premier League. He scored 7 goals, but he can play as a centre back. He can also play as a full back as well. And Jose Mourinho does want to strengthen that defensive position up, as you said. He wants to strengthen that attacking position up as well. But reportedly Nathan Ake is a player that has been at Feyenoord in the past where he risen up the ranks, Chelsea in the past where he risen up the ranks. I think he's also been at Reading and he's been at Watford on loan as a player. During his time at Watford, he won Watford Young Player of the season as well. With Chelsea, he won Chelsea Young Player of the Year. With Chelsea, he basically won the League Cup with them. He also won the Europa League with Chelsea as well, Nathan Ake. But reportedly Man U, Man City and Chelsea are interested in the player. I think Eddie Howe's potential looking to sanction Nathan Ake off. But there's quite a few teams that are monitoring the player and took an interest in him, based on his fantastic performances this season. The player, because Eddie Howe he's been appointed he was the youngest manager to be appointed Bournemouth manager in 2009. He's obviously won the championship with Bournemouth. They've been in the Premier League now 4 years now with Bournemouth. They have got a good set of bunch of players. I think they spent around £49 million in the last summer window as well. But reportedly, they're looking to sanction Nathan Ake off, because basically now we need a strong central defender, because we've leaked a lot of goals this season. Especially in the Premier League, Manchester United have leaked a lot of goals this season. Jose Mourinho's looking to bolster that defensive position. We know recently Lindelof and Smalling have been playing in that centre-back position. We know we've still got players coming to the end of the deals, as I do keep mentioning. Phil Jones does have the option to extend his contract by a further 12 months. We've had him since Blackburn in 2012, the player. We got him from Blackburn for £17 million, Phil Jones, in the process. He has suffered from injuries a lot, since he's come to Old Trafford as well. But I think Man United are prepared to negotiate him, signing him that extension. Also, Eric Bailly, who hasn't featured much this season as well, reportedly AC Milan were interested in him. He's coming to an end of his deal as well at the end of the season. But if Jose Mourinho was to sanction him off, he'd rather sanction him off in January, cash in for the player, around about the fee we paid for him, which was £30 million for Villarreal, rather than let him go on a free next summer, Eric Bailly. But he's had injury problems, as Eric Bailly, since he's come to Manchester United as well. I think Lindelof, when he first came to Manchester United, when we got him from Benfica for £30 million, he struggled in his first season, but I think this season he's dramatically improved slightly as Lindelof, so I'll give him credit in that as well. But yeah, it would be good to see Nathan Ake, added into the ranks at Manchester United. I think he should be playing for a bigger club. He's obviously played at Chelsea in the past, as I said, where he's risen up the ranks. I think Bournemouth's too much of a small club for him, with his potential level, because he's done really, really well this season. I think he needs to get some experience of playing for a big club, and we know Bournemouth are a big club, so he needs to get experience playing at a big club. He has had that experience with Chelsea, but I think he's best off now at a big club. Is Nathan Ake. But yeah, apparently he's a good tackler. He's good in the air, and he's a strong central defender. But he can also operate as a left back as well. And potentially Manchester United potentially do need another left back in that team. You can see with Luke Shaw, he's getting a lot of game time this season. He didn't last season because obviously he'd had disputes with Jose Mourinho last season and Luke Shaw, and he wasn't really playing last season. But this season, he currently is playing as well as Luke Shaw. But if you've heard the transfer rumours, it leaked 3 or 4 months ago, potentially a catalogue of teams were interested in Nathan Ike or Ake, however you pronounce his name. But yeah, I think he's been at Bournemouth since 2016-17. You know, he's been at Reading on loan. He's been at Watford on loan as well. He was up the youth system with Chelsea as well. He didn't really get into the senior team, really. I think he only made like 7 appearances in the senior team with Chelsea. But reportedly, you know, Manchester City are also interested. City have got a fantastic solid defence anywhere. You know, they've got company there. You know, they've got John Stones there. They've got a fantastic defensive line. You can see this season they've only leaked 4 goals. And, you know, the amount of money that Pep Guardiola has invested in that Manchester City team, you know, they're still looking to add more players into their team as well. But going to the head, we could see a few players leave in January or leave next summer. As I potentially mentioned to you guys about Alexis Sanchez, reportedly he wants to leave United. He hasn't really made an impact since he's come to Old Trafford. You know, he's very good in the air, very creative. I'd proven under Arsene Wenger in his Arsenal days, 4 or 5 years there. Good with Barcelona, good with underneath. But he says he wants to leave because he doesn't like Jose Mourinho's managerial style. You know, at Manchester United, he's not getting along with a lot of teammates. He's Alexis Sanchez. He's on £500,000 a week, you know, the highest paid player. For me, he hasn't really made an impact since he's come. You know, he's only scored 4 goals since he's come. I think he's provided a few assists. He's only been here since January. So potentially he could leave in January, Sanchez. He could leave next summer because reportedly, from his perspective, he does want to leave Manchester United. Does Alexis Sanchez at PSG were linked with him last year. I think the majority of Manchester United fans do want to see him leave because he hasn't really made an impact, you know, since he's come. Sometimes I said it does take time for players to settle in. You know, he has been here since January, so he has had time to settle in. So we'll just have to see what happens about that as well. But going ahead of the game today, 4:30, as I did update you yesterday, guys, on what was going on yesterday. Paul Pogba update. He's very doubtful now for the Manchester derby. You know, he was suspended from the result last. He was suspended from the game last season at Old Trafford, which was 2-1 to City. Reportedly, we've had an update. As I said to you yesterday, he's missed. He hasn't arrived at Lorry Hotel with the rest of the squad. It confirmed he was training yesterday. On Friday, he currently missed training as well, but he was with the rest of the squad. But it confirmed he was training indoors. But he described in the press that the injury wasn't severe. He just suffered a slight injury, so the injury is currently not severe. But according to the press, it says it's very unlikely that he's going to feature in the derby today because he was our key player in the derby last season. You know, at the Etihad, you know, we won by 3-2. You know, our most essential creative midfielder. Reportedly, it's coming out in the press now that Juventus could potentially make a move for him in January. It said reportedly, according to Goal, that Juventus are willing to offer one of their 3 players, you know, to Manchester United for Paul Pogba to go back to Juventus. So reportedly, it said the names in there were Mandzukic, Alexandro and Belata as well. So he said reportedly Juventus have given Manchester United one choice out of them 3 players, you know, for potentially Juventus to re-go for Paul Pogba because, you know, he was there 4 or 5 years, you know, he won honours with them, he made 179 appearances with them, you know, the Juventus director especially have a lot of respect for the player. You know, he does have the odd good game here and there, but I don't think he's really made an impact since he's come to the club. You know, £89 million. He's on you know, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. You know, if he's to leave, you know, then we'll have to basically look for a replacement for Paul Pogba. But I can't see Manchester United sanctioning Paul Pogba off to be quite honest with you, because he has been here since 2016. You know, so but yeah, he's doubtful for the Manchester derby. I think Valencia's still got a mouth injury. He's been out like for a long time now. I think Doya has suffered a knock injury as well, so he's going to be out. Confirmed Manchester City have got De Bruyne out until mid-December. They've also got Claudio Bravo out. I think they've got a few other players out as well. And Romelu Lukaku, I think he's likely to feature in this game today because he obviously hasn't been in great form this season. He hasn't been, sorry guys about that, he hasn't been in great form this season, Romelu Lukaku. You know, he hadn't scored in 9 games. a lot of Manchester United fans, still think we look better without him. I think we could have potentially, it was £75 million. I think potentially, you know, I think potentially he is a good player, he's Romelu Lukaku, but everyone speaks about him being a big game bottler. Mourinho paid £75 million for him. He was a current all-time goal scorer for Everton, with 68 goals. Also been at Anderlecht in the past and Chelsea in the past as well. But a lot of United fans say we look better without him. I think potentially we could have got a better number 9, especially I think Aubameyang would have been a beneficial number 9. Very good in the air, very quick. Fantastic finisher, good goal scorer. So I'd prefer definitely Aubameyang over Romelu Lukaku. He hasn't featured in the last 2 games because he suffered a slight injury. But according to Samuel Lockhurst, who obviously presents the Manchester Evening News, he calling it with Lukaku's full of 100% fit. Obviously, he's gone with the rest of the squad at Lowry Hotel, so it's likely he will be featuring. But we know recently Martial and Rashford and Sanchez have been fulfilling Romelu Lukaku's spot. We know everyone talks, so Lukaku could be featuring. Jose Mourinho said he could be available. And Herrera hasn't been a regular from the start this season. From the start of the game, he has been coming on as substitutions. I think he has performed well when he has come on as these substitutions, but potentially he could start up in the starting 11 today. You got Martial has been in absolutely fantastic form. He's due to his fantastic form since he's been recalled back into the France squad. He missed the World Cup during the summer, did Anthony Martial, and he's great young talent, and he will grow and develop. Great young talent, and he will grow and develop and get better and better and better. He's won everything here, part of Premier League and Champions League, just like Marcus Rashford. I think Martial and Rashford are comparable. They're good. They're both young. They've got good young age talents, and they will get better and better and better. In my opinion, and reportedly, he's coming to an end of his deal. Martial, his agents, his representatives, been discussions about him getting a new contract. Reportedly, he's on the brink of signing a £45 million a year deal, plus signing a 5-year contract to go along with that as well. So it would make him potentially the highest paid player. Sorry there, guys. Just do something on my game. I'll carry on talking in a minute. But yeah, potentially Martial had turned the previous contract offer down, but reportedly he's going to be on the brink of signing a 5-year contract, according to the press as well. But going into this game, Pep Guardiola's got a fantastic pedigree. He's invested a lot of money into the team. He's won honours at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and he's broken records, won 24 trophies in his career. He's won the Premier League with Man City last season as well by a huge deficit. But I think Mourinho and Pep Guardiola are 2 fantastic pedigrees. He spent £1 billion in all his managerial career as Guardiola, so basically he spent more than half of that at Manchester City. Manchester City spent the most money in Europe as well. And Jose Mourinho's got a fantastic pedigree as well, but I still think he's still playing slightly out of position. He's had disputes with some of the top players at Old Trafford. This is why you could say why a lot of the players aren't playing for Jose Mourinho. But Jose Mourinho said he does want Martial to stay. He's still convinced we can get the top 4. He's very, very convinced. He's reportedly going to get £100 million spending spree to spend in January on players. And this is going to be a very, very tasty affair between City and United. We're looking for back-to-back wins at the Etihad Stadium. We did beat them last season from being 2-0 down, come back from a 2-goal deficit. As I said, you could look at the bookies website. Manchester United is 7-1 just to win the game. On Bet365, it might be different at William Hill or Ladbrokes or whatever bookie site you do. Look on if you are a gambling person. Just have a look at it. But I think Jose Mourinho deserves a lot of praise. I'm backing Jose Mourinho recently because we have been in a good run of form recently. We're looking up to win at Chelsea. We have lost to teams this season we shouldn't have lost to, but we have been in a good run of form lately. Should have won at Chelsea. Won at Bournemouth, won against Juventus midweek. I think that's potentially our best result, definitely under Jose Mourinho. One game away from qualification for the knockouts in February. We beat Everton, beat Newcastle. I think since Newcastle we've been in absolutely fantastic form because before Newcastle it said regardless of the result, Jose Mourinho was going to get sacked. This is his third season now at the club. He's spent just under £400 million on 11 players, but he's looking to add more players into the team in January as well. I don't think we're title contenders this season. You never know in football, but I can't see us being title contenders this season. I do think we will get the top four. Last season we did. We got second place. I just basically don't want Europa League football. Basically, I know we've won the Europa League on Jose Mourinho in his first season, but I just don't want Europa League football. With the levels of this club, with the money that's being put into this club, we shouldn't, we don't want to be in Europa League football. We don't want to be like Arsenal and Chelsea in the Europa League. So basically, I want us to at least get top four this season for us to get Champions League qualification for next season. But I can't see United win the Champions League. I just don't think we're on the same level at the moment. And Mourinho had admitted we have to spend to compete with the European teams, especially. I don't think we're on the same level as Juventus still, or Real Madrid, or Bayern Munich, or Barcelona. We're nowhere near on the same level as them. So we need to, again, graduate to that level. Because under Fergie, we was on, we was potentially better than Madrid. We was potentially better than Juventus. We was potentially better than Barcelona. We was one of the best then, when we had Fergie, and Fergie had all them fantastic great players. But now, since he's left, we are not on the same level as them teams, at this moment in time. So Jose Mourinho needs to address these problems. But we have got a glimpse of the Fergie days, lately, late goals, late comebacks, like we used to do under Alex Ferguson. But Jose Mourinho can turn it. But Jose Mourinho can turn it around. You've just got to potentially give him time, and the players that he's after, that he's interested in, likes of that Inter Milan centre back, Boateng, Harry Maguire, Toby Alderweireld. These players would want to come to Manchester United, and if they want to come to Manchester United, they want to be up there competing for silverware, and this is what players like that want. They don't want to play for a club who isn't challenging for silverware or isn't competing, as I said. But if you had the rumours about Juan Mata as well, reportedly Arsenal could potentially make a move for him in the summer and get him on a free transfer. If Man United were to offload him, which I can't see happening, they'd rather cash in for the player rather than let him go out on a free next summer. Mata plays on the right, as he has done this season when he has played. I think he's better in a number 10 position. As I said, he's Juan Mata. He's got a lot of experience of being in the Premier League as Juan Mata, but obviously Emre, who's done a very good job of Arsenal so far. He's been at Paris Saint-Germain, Sevilla, and he's looking to reunite with Juan Mata. He's Emre, because obviously Juan Mata's worked with Emre in the past, during his days with Valencia, where he made 174 appearances. He's up the ranks with Real Madrid as well. So he has had a lot of experience of being in Spain as well in the past as Mata than the Premier League. He's got a lot of experience now in the Premier League. I think now he's been in Premier League all in all 8 years. With Chelsea, he won the Europa League, the Champions League, and we've had him since 2014 at Manchester United. We just paid under £40 million for the player, and I think he's been phenomenal since he's come to Old Trafford as Juan Mata. I do really think he's been really good. I wouldn't want to see him leave, and especially sanctioning him off to our arch rivals. I wouldn't want to see that to happen, but there's been talks in the press about Juan Mata potentially going to Arsenal on free next summer, because obviously Arsenal are looking for a replacement for Aaron Ramsey, because obviously Arsenal have told Aaron Ramsey he's a very good box-to-box midfielder. I'd love him at Manchester United. It would be beneficial, especially if Paul Pogba left the club and went back to Juventus or whatever. It would be very beneficial indeed. But Aaron Ramsey, good box midfielder. Arsenal have told him he's not currently signed. He's not getting offered a new contract. His current one comes to an end next summer at the end of the season. He was very, very good in his Cardiff years as a young boy. You know, he spent about 8 years there as a youngster, Aaron Ramsey. But he's a very, very good player. He's Aaron Ramsey. So we need, you know, if Pogba was to leave, we need, you know, a player like Aaron Ramsey, you know, to complement the likes of Herrera, Matic and Fred in our midfield. And Aaron Ramsey, I think, would complement that especially as well. You know, David De Gea, he still hasn't signed his contract extension yet. Mourinho said he wasn't confident he was going to sign his contract extension with United. De Gea, for me, you know, he's been here since 2011. Fergie got him for like £18 million. He was very, very good in his Spain days. Was De Gea, you know, with Atletico Madrid, where he's up the ranks at the age of 13, made his senior debut in 2009. But reportedly, if David De Gea is to sign this new contract extension, obviously he would demand a higher wage increase, just like Martial would demand a higher wage increase each week if Martial was to sign this new deal. And De Gea was to sign this new contract extension. He has yet to sign his contract extension yet, David De Gea. I still have confidence that he will. I think David De Gea is potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. I think he potentially will be happy to stay as long as Man United Man United are up there competing and winning silverware, you know. But he has experienced the fantastic times at Man United, just like Jones has, just like Valencia has, you know, with the success, you know, especially what we had under Alex Ferguson. So these players have experienced that, and you know, if these players are to continue their, you know, careers with Manchester United, such as De Gea, Jones, Valencia, you know, they want to be up there challenging and getting silverware on the board as well. But I'm still confident. You know, David De Gea hasn't really focused much on signing this extension at the moment. We know he's been heavily linked with the likes of Real Madrid and all that. But obviously Real Madrid had stubbed their interest in the player due to that. Obviously they got Courtois as well, did Real Madrid. So we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a great game today. I think it's going to be a great game of attacking football. Defensively, you know, with the class of Manchester City, the amount of money that's being put into that team, I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to see Luke Shaw going up against Raheem Sterling today. So I hope Luke Shaw does get the better of him. Raheem Sterling has just signed a 5-year contract with the City until 2023. The player who they've had since 2015, who they got from Liverpool, Manchester City. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. This intensity grows year after year after year after year. Defensively, we have got problems. As away record isn't good this season. We've only won 3 away from home this season, so we need to improve that as well. Defensively, we've got to improve as well. This is why Jose Mourinho's looking for a central defender in the January window. That's very, very essential for Manchester United. And as I said, City will score today. You know, with the class players they've got. You know, they've been banning goals in for fun. But it's going to be a very, very tough game. It's the biggest game of the season, you know, if you ask me. But now Pogba's out of that team, looking like he's out of the team. He's doubtful. It's going to dramatically change our midfield a lot as well, without Paul Pogba in that midfield. So we will have to see what happens. So the main part of this video is about Nathan Ake. I think he would be very, very good if he was to come to United. City are interested in him. Tottenham have reportedly been interested in him as well. And it mentioned Chelsea have got an option to buy him back for £40 million, because that's what Bournemouth are rating him at, £40 million, Nathan Ake. As I said, risen up the ranks with Chelsea. He's been at Chelsea in the past for about 5 years. You know, he's been at Reading on loan. He's been at Watford on loan. You know, he won the League Cup and the Europa League with Chelsea as well, did Nathan Ake. He's been at Bournemouth, I think this is his second season or something now with Bournemouth under Eddie Howe, but this season his performances have been outstanding, according to the press. So a lot of teams are monitoring an interest in the player as well, and you know, Man United are reportedly interested in him as well. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, take care. God bless, guys, and we will be back later on for the Manchester City review after the game as well. The description's in the box below. If you do drop your comments or even drop a like, I would appreciate that as well. So anyway, that's everything to do today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. As I said, take it easy. God bless, guys, and there'll be more live videos coming up soon. Take care. Peace.